start your class 11 topics, and class 11 topics you already know about that. So there are two volumes are there. So volume 1 and as well as volume 2. First of all, we'll see what are the chapter names are there in your class 11. Okay, so whatever I'm discussing here, this is related to your class 11 only. So let's see one. So class 11 lo on this. So the content, the chapters are like this, and as per NCERT, I'm telling you that. So first one, we'll discuss about the physical world. Physical world. So those who are already completed your class 11, it's fine. So those are new to class 11, so please see that. So what are the chapter names? First of all, chapter names நம்ம clear ஆ தெரிஞ்சது, நம்ம content என்னன்னு தெரியும். So second one, your units and measurement. So units and measurement. Okay, so third one, we'll discuss about your motion in a straight line. Motion in a straight line. Fourth one, we'll discuss about the motion in a plane. Okay, first now on the headings mattu solidra, after that I'll explain what are the contents are there. Okay, so fifth one, we'll discuss about the laws of motion. Okay, sixth one, we'll discuss about your work power energy. Work power energy. Okay, so seventh one, we'll discuss about the rotational motion. Okay, eighth one, we'll discuss about your gravitation part. Gravitation, and this is your volume 1. Okay, so first of all, we'll see what are the contents are there in your physical world. This is a theory topic though. So we are going to discuss about the Newton's laws. You are going to discuss about the law of conservation concepts. Okay, you are going to discuss about your types of forces. Just a theory. Maybe sometimes your schools may skip this topic. Okay, so this is just a theory topic and it is not that much important. So but what are the contents you are going to study in your class 11? So it will cover that particular topic. Okay, let's see units and measurement. In this units and measurement, you are going to discuss about two basic structures, types of units. Okay, so under these types of units, you are going to discuss about your dimension analysis. Other types of units number discuss the types of units. After that, there is one more thing called your dimension analysis. Dimension analysis. In the dimension analysis law, there are three different methods are there. So with the help of this dimension analysis, we can able to create the physical quantities, relations of physical quantities. We can able to convert the units. So MKs to CGS or CGS to MKs, we can able to convert it with the help of this dimension analysis. And after that, so third one on the number relation creations. Physical quantity, other equation correctness number check panna. So that is your equation correctness. And after that, relation creation. So we can able to relate it. So we can able to do the relation creations. Okay, so these are the three types, and this dimension analysis is so much important. So ungalku Neet ku important da, and as well as JEE ku important. JEE ku romba important idu. Okay, so easy and important topic. Okay, and after that, apart from this units and measurement, we are going to discuss about your errors. So errors on the error types, remember there are types of errors. And after that, your error measurements. So types of errors are different. Enna types irukku theory da. So error measurement, there are different sections are there. Sequence irukku. Okay, other on the four sequences irukku. Types kadaidu nothing solren. Those are not types. Those are your sequence. So absolute error, neenga already therinjina, it's fine. Absolute error, mean absolute error, relative error, and percentage error. So these are the sequence. And after that, apart from this, there is one more thing called combination of errors or propagation of errors and solvom. Okay, so combination of errors or propagation of errors. So in the combination propagation, இது ரொம்ப important. இதுல வந்து three segments இருக்கு. So first one, it is your addition or subtraction. Second one, your multiplication or division part. And third one is your power terms. Okay, so we can expect some questions from this. Okay, so remember idula on the dimension analysis part important, and as well as idula combination of errors important. Okay, and this sequence irukla idu vandu romba time consuming, and idanala vandu we cannot able to expect it. Idu vandu just a theory. Neenga vandu board exams lo plus unga school exams lo we can expect this error measurements relations. Okay, so this is your first and second chapters. Third chapter nanda the basic structure start agum, romba important content. So we call it as kinematics. Motion is straight line, motion is plane, rendu combined that we call it as kinematics. So motion is straight line, we are going to discuss about your object which is traveling in a straight line. Okay, adala structure, adala parameters enna நம்ம discuss பண்றோம்னா, so one is your displacement, next one is your distance, next one is your velocity, Okay, so next one is your speed and acceleration. So in the terms தான் நம்ம வந்து இந்த chapter full discuss பண்றோம். And remember, in the motion is straight line, that is your kinematics, in the related concepts எல்லாம் வந்து it is related to or it is applicable only for the straight line. ஆப்ஜெக்ட் வந்து ஸ்ட்ரைட் லைன்ல டிராவல் ஆயிருக்கலாம், அது ஹாரிசன்டலா இருக்கலாம் இல்ல வெர்டிகலா இருக்கலாம். ஓகே, ஹாரிசன்டல் இருக்கும்போது வில் ரிலேட் வித் யுவர் ஆக்சலரேஷன். வெர்டிகல் இருக்கும்போது we are relating with respect to your acceleration due to gravity. அது பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கலாம், நெகட்டிவா இருக்கலாம். பாசிட்டிவ் in the sense it is towards your gravitation, that is your earth. நெகட்டிவ் சொல்லும்போது it is away from the earth. Okay, இதுல வந்து 3 equations இருக்கு. So அந்த 3 equations derivations we'll discuss because so those who are in class 11 it will be useful for them. So one is your v is equal to u plus at. Second one, s is equal to ut plus half at square. Third one, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. And apart from these three, there is a fourth one is there. So fourth one to find the nth term, nth second find out பண்றதுக்கு. So the relation is Sn is equal to u plus a by 2 into 2n minus 1. Okay, so these are the 4 relations are there. Okay, and these equations are so much important in motion is straight line. Okay, so motion plane on this motion plane we are going to discuss about your term called vectors and scalars. Vectors and scalars பத்தி நம்ம discuss பண்றது. Okay, so scalars which are having only magnitude, vectors which are having both magnitude as well as direction. Okay, so remember it. And scalars la vectors la வந்து ரொம்ப ரெண்டு important terms நம்ம discuss பண்றோம். One, addition of vectors. Second one is your multiplication of vectors. So addition of vectors மட்டும் தான் நம்ம பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம், ஏன்னா subtraction கிடையாது. So only vector addition is there. Okay, so here in this case we are going to discuss about the addition la வந்து நம்ம என்னென்ன discuss பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம்னா, one thing is your triangle method. Second one is your parallelogram method. Okay, third one is your orthogonal, that is your polygon law of vector addition as well. Polygon. So that's the different shapes. So these are the 3 things in your addition of vectors. So subtraction எதுவுமே கிடையாது, நம்ம vectors மட்டும் தான் add மட்டும் தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம், subtract பண்ண மாட்டோம். So subtraction means your direction change, that's it. Okay, so இதுல வந்து first of all we will discuss about the types of vectors. அங்க இருந்து தான் நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றோம். So types of vectors, there are 11 types. உங்களுக்கு ஆல்ரெடி தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு எனக்கு. So those are unit vector plus வந்து positive vector, negative vector, null vector. Okay, orthogonal unit vector, so coplanar, collinear, there are so many things are there, around 11 types are there. Okay, so and multiplication of vectors we are going to discuss about the 2 things. This is very important. One is your cross product and one is your dot product. One is your cross product and one is your dot product. Cross product related to your vectors, vector multiplication, dot product related to your scalar. Okay, so cross product on the vector and related to your sin theta. Adu eppadi sin theta relate aayirukku நம்ம discuss பண்ணலாம். So scalar quantity it is for your cos theta. So these are your 2 things. Okay, இது motion plane topics. Okay, and this motion plane ரொம்ப important. Remember இது JE க்கு வந்து ரொம்ப important compared to Neet. JE concepts க்கு வந்து motion straight line, motion plane வந்து ரொம்ப important concepts. Okay, and next one is your laws of motion. So laws of motion we are going to discuss about 2 basic types are there. So and remember one more thing, number laws of motion discuss பண்றது only one important topic, that is your contact forces. Contact forces based பண்ணி தான் நம்ம discuss பண்றோம். There are so many conditions are there. இந்த condition வந்து one horizontal table base பண்ணி, இன்னொன்னு வந்து pulleys base பண்ணி, இன்னொன்னு வந்து inclined plane base பண்ணி. Okay, and after this there is one more concept called friction part. Again friction la on the inclined plane base pani irukku concepts, again pulleys base pani concepts irukku, and it was so much important. And after that laws of motion la there is one more concept called circular motion. Okay, circular motion concept irukku and it is important also. So after this, so work power energy வந்து we are going to discuss about what are the types of work, and after that how many types of energies are there, relation with respect to your potential energy, kinetic energy, and after that there is one more thing called your power concepts. So இதுல வந்து what are the work power energy and loss of motion la வந்து friction based பண்ணி question ரொம்ப important இருக்கும். And after that in the work power energy concepts வந்து easy concept தான், but this chapter is important for your JEE. Okay, questions வந்து நிறைய questions வரலாம். இதுல வந்து collision base பண்ணி ஒரு concept இருக்கு. So single dimension collision, you already know that those who are completed your class 11. So those people know that collisions, there are 2 types of collisions are there, 1 dimensional collision and as well as 2 dimension collision. Okay, there are two types of collisions out there. So this is your loss of motion and as well as your work power energy. So இதுல வந்து rotational motion ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இருக்கு. rotational motionனா remember circular motion வேற angular motion வேற. circular motion and angular motion both are same, almost same, and rotational motion வந்து different. Remember rotational motion வந்து different. Like for example, so fan, ceiling fan. So for this ceiling fan, it is rotating, but remember it has its own fixed axis. So ஒரு fixed axis base பண்ணி தான் இந்த ஆப்ஜெக்ட் வந்து ரொட்டேட் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. Remember this is your rotation motion. இந்த rotation motionல வந்து ரெண்டு laws இருக்கு. One is your perpendicular axis, one is your parallel axis. இதுல வந்து we are going to discuss about the moment of inertia, so I, and radius of gyration R ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரெண்டு terms இருக்கு. And after that depends upon the shapes. Remember depends upon the shapes, center of gravity, center of mass ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு there are some terms are there. நிறைய derivations இருக்கு. ரொம்ப important topic இது. Okay. So these are the terms. So in the terms வந்து ரொம்ப important. So after this, so இதுதான் basic structure. Okay. இதுல rotation motion base பண்ணி there are so many concepts are there. So இது ரொம்ப important content, and remember ரொம்ப important content இது rotation motion for JE. நீட்டுக்கு வந்து 1 or 2 questions மட்டும்தான் வரும், பட் ஜேஇக்கு ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். அண்ட் நான் முன்னாடி சொல்லிடுறேன், those are preparing for your JEs, class 11 வந்து you have to concentrate more compared to class 12. class 11 வந்து நிறைய contents இருக்கு, நிறைய topics இருக்குது. Okay. And there is one more thing, the last one for your volume 1 is your gravitation. Gravitation வந்து நீங்க acceleration due to gravity base பண்ணி questions இருக்கு, and universal gravitation concept base பண்ணி questions இருக்கு, and இதுல வந்து free fall ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு concepts இருக்கு, and as well as the relations with respect to your satellites, other relation concepts இருக்கு. Gravitation வந்து it is direct questions. You won't feel any indirect questions. All are direct questions, and it is easy concept. Directly questions you will be there. Okay, so this is your volume 1 now. Better we'll stop this volume 1 now. இதுக்கு மேல stretch பண்ணிட்டேனா it will itself take more time. Okay, so அதனால வந்து this is your volume 1. volume 2 ல வந்து only நான் headings மட்டும் தான் நான் கொடுக்கிறேன். Just concentrate on this. Okay, content வந்து it is slightly related to your chemistry. நான் ரொம்ப stretch பண்ண மாட்டேன். So I'll start. So volume 2 ல first chapter we are going to discuss about the properties of solids. Properties of solids. Second one we'll discuss about the fluids, properties of solids and the properties of fluids, and third one is your thermal expansion. Okay, remember these 3 chapters neat பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் ஒரு chapterல வந்து ஒரு question வரும் neatக்கு. Okay, and for JE the fluids is so much important. Fluid expansion இருக்கு, properties of fluids வந்து so much important, and அதுல வந்து Archimedes principle, buoyancy forces plus வந்து upthrust, viscosity, surface tension ரொம்ப important topic இது. But neat பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் neatல வந்து every topic will get one question. Okay, 3 questions வந்து இந்த 3 chapterல பேஸ் பண்ணி வரும். So those are preparing for neat. Physics உங்களுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப difficult-ஆ நீங்க feel பண்றீங்கன்னா இந்த 3 chapter you can omit it. Easily you can omit it. Okay, so these 3 chapters we call it as properties of matter. Properties of matter. Okay, apart from this, fourth one is there, it is your thermodynamics. So in the thermodynamics it was there in your chemistry also. Thermodynamics we are going to discuss about the 0th law, first law, and second law. 0th law, first law, and second law. In the 0th law, first law, second law, it depends upon some processes. Okay, so on the process related base pani, there are 2 concepts are there, ரொம்ப important concepts. One is your heat engine. Okay, one is your Carnot engine. Okay, in the ரெண்டு relations ரொம்ப important. Okay, அதுல வந்து Carnot engine it was so much important. Remember it. And after that, kinetic theory of gases. Kinetic theory of gases. Kinetic theory of gases la வந்து it is a small topic only. We are going to discuss about the degree of freedom or concept இருக்கு, எப்படி வந்து collisions will be happening between the molecules, or how the collisions will be happening to the molecule to the wall. Okay, other velocity related there are some concepts are there. There is a small relation is there. Okay, kinetic theory of gases it is easy. And oscillation waves, next one is your oscillations. So oscillations வந்து ரொம்ப important topic. Oscillations வந்து you are going to discuss about the types of motion. இதுல main important topic நம்ம discuss பண்றது வந்து time period, time duration. So இதுல வந்து simple pendulum base பண்ணி questions இருக்கு, other related concepts இருக்கு. So the same concepts you may or you will study in your AC, alternating currents. Okay, so which is in your class 12. அதோட equation based பண்ணி தான் இருக்கு. அதெல்லாம் oscillations based பண்ணி தான் இந்த AC ல வருது. Okay, and after that we are going to discuss about the waves. So waves வந்து இதுல so there is a term called Doppler effect. இது ரொம்ப important topic. Okay, so Doppler effect related questions will be there, and as well as beats based funny questions will be there, and after that there is a organ pipe based questions will be there. Okay, so these are your content in your volume 2. Okay, so this is volume 1 and volume 2. Idhula vandu if you are feeling difficult for your class 11 na, you can leave it. So those who are in need, so if you feel difficult they can leave these 3 topics. Okay, apart from that all are important. Okay, and JE purtha varaikkum the fluids are important, thermodynamics is important, and oscillation waves are so much important. Okay, so everything is related to your conceptual questions, direct questions. Okay, so this is your structure of your class 11. Okay, those are feeling difficulty in the network, please let me know. So in voice audio video clear check pannikonga. We'll start your class 11 topics, and that one to your physical world basics na start pannu. Okay, any issues, anything, please let me know. You can chat there itself, I can able to see it. Any doubts, any issues? It's audible and clear, sir. Fine. Okay, good. Please, everyone, please respond. So I just want to check. So now the director, I put start pantana. Maybe you can skip your classes. I mean, issues irko. So please let me know. Is it fine? Then we'll start it. Okay, ma. So we'll start. And I just want your response. So I know that you people are already completed your class 11. Almost of you people are completed your class 11. I know that. So please, ஏதாவது doubts இருந்தா, so you can stop me there, and I need your response, ma. So when I'm asking you any questions, basic questions தான் நான் கேக்குறேன். Please, I need your response. இல்லனா ரொம்ப போர் அடிச்சிடும் physics. அது theory topics இதெல்லாம். நம்ம electrostatics மாதிரி வந்து derivations இருக்கதெல்லாம் வந்து it was fine. But இங்க வந்து ரொம்ப theory தான். Okay, right. So first of all, we'll start your physical world. So from your NCERT concepts. Okay, in the physical world வந்து நான் ரொம்ப stretch பண்ண மாட்டேன். I will go to the direct concepts. One, we are going to discuss about the Newton's laws. Newton's laws. Second one, we'll discuss about before that we'll discuss about your types of forces. இது ஆல்ரெடி நான் வந்து ஸ்டார்டிங்லேயே நான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிருக்கேன்னு தெரியுது. டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஃபோர்ஸஸ் நான் வந்து earlier classes-லயே நான் இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டேன். பட் ஸ்டில் we'll see. And after that we'll discuss about the laws of conservation. Laws of conservation. Okay, so these are your basic 3 concepts we are going to discuss now. After that we'll discuss about your units and measurement. Normal direct topic la. Okay, so first one we'll discuss about your types of forces. Types of forces. So types of forces on the கேட்டாலும் if you know it you can tell me that. Okay, so or else you can concentrate here. So types of forces உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் you will say only push or as well as pull. Okay, force என்னன்னா it is nothing but push or pull on an object. Okay, so இதுதான் நீங்க சொல்றீங்க. So anyway, so when you are discussing about the push or pull, just correct that the force தான் push or pull only, but specifically when you are discussing about the forces now, forces are of 2 types are there. One is your contact force. One is your contact force. Next one is your non-contact force. One is your contact force, next one is your non-contact force. Contact force lo push pull irukum, non-contact force lo push pull irukum, but adu push pull nu solla matom non-contact force lo. That is your attraction force or repulsion force. Remember it. Okay, let's see some small types. So contact forces lo there are 2 things are there. One is your muscular force. Okay, so next one is your frictional force. One is your muscular force, next one is your frictional force. Non-contact forces are of 4 types are there. 4 types irukku. Gravitational force. So those who are taking notes, நீங்க வந்து notes start பண்ணுங்க. நான் தனியா notes கொடுக்க மாட்டேன் இதுக்கெல்லாம். So because it is your running notes, நான் notes கொடுத்துட்டே இருந்தா உங்க ஸ்கூல் மாதிரி ஆயிடும். So it will take more time. நம்ம கான்செப்ட்ல போக முடியாது. So those who are wanting, those who like the running notes, please take it. Or else recording எப்படி இருக்கும்? இந்த recording I'll be posting in YouTube. You can see there itself. Okay, so gravitational force. Second one is your electromagnetic force. Third one is your nuclear forces. These nuclear forces again split into two things. So one is your strong nuclear force, one is your weak nuclear force. Clear? So these are the four types of it. So first one, muscular force na, it is nothing but your applied force and solla. Okay, let's see a small example. Or chinna example paklam. So assume I'm just taking an object. Remember when you're taking an object, so clear mention panikonga, there is a mass. Okay, so mass vere, weight vere. Mass which was occupying some space which has units like kgs or grams. Weight is different when you're specifying the mass under the gravity or gravitational force. Okay, so we'll discuss as your weight. So weight is nothing but your mass into acceleration due to gravity, which is nothing but your force. Weight to force rendu same da. So the unit for force and the unit for weight is Newton only. Remember it. Now, let's say a small example for the muscular force. What I'll do, I'm applying some force here. The force is push force. Okay, and the push na I'm making a contact here, and the contact I'm applying the force here. Remember it. Okay, so whatever the muscular force we are discussing, whatever the energy we are having, that energy then I'm work convert. So here I'm applying some force, that is your pushing force, that is nothing but your muscular force. Now force apply in the object on the move. When it is moving, it has its own acceleration. The acceleration gain this is the Newton's second law discuss as force is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, this is velocity now discuss those things are different. Okay, so this is your push. So same thing, what I'll do now, the string connect so I'm applying some pull. Okay, so other contact base so this is nothing but your push or pull on an object. Okay, again there is an acceleration here, so force is equal to mass into acceleration. Remember this case. So this is nothing but your muscular force. Frictional force frictional force is nothing but your opposing force. Remember it. It is nothing but your opposing force. So in the frictional force, it depends upon two things. Two things. One is your surface. One is your surface. Second one, we'll discuss about the weight of the object. One is your surface, second one depends upon the weight of the object. Let's see that. Suppose in the object and I'm just placing on the rough surface. I'm placing on the rough surface. Rough surface when I'm placing this object, now the force apply pandren. Remember, force apply pandren. Even though I'm applying some force, what will happen in the object on the andalook accelerate agade on the rough surface the force on the kammi. So that means it will try to oppose the force. So on the frictional surface on the it will try to oppose the force. And the opposing force we call it as frictional force. This force opposite direction act. Remember, it will be always acting opposite to the force. Remember this case. Okay. Now, so here one is your surface. Surface there are two things are there. One is your rough surface and one is your smooth surface. One is your rough surface, one is your smooth surface. Rough surface the friction jasthi, smooth surface the friction lesser, even zero. There is one more thing, weight and solid. So on the weight on the particular object so it is nothing but mass into acceleration due to gravity, directly downward direction. So perpendicular the force here. Okay, and this is a normal reaction which is nothing but your n. So in the concepts we are going to discuss in your laws of motion. Romba peri topic idu. So I'm just simply telling you. So frictional force is much important topic, and we'll discuss these concepts in your laws of motion. Okay, so laws of motion we'll discuss more detail. So this is your muscular force and this is nothing but your frictional force. Just remember it. Those who know it, it's fine. So those who don't know, please remember it. So now we'll discuss about the non-contact forces. Non-contact forces already here we are going to discuss about the attraction and repulsion forces. That's it. Okay, let's see first one. Gravitational force. So you may have seen this gravitational force. So gravitational force formula another F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square. Remember, F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square. This is your force relation. So you already know this one. Let's see. So in a detail of it. So assuming what I'll do, I'm taking two objects, two masses. Okay, now on the gravitational we have to specify with respect to your mass. So there are two masses in our two planets. So I'm just taking this mass m1 and assuming it is your Earth. Let's see. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll take one more satellite like moon. So this is your moon and it has its own mass. I'm taking this as mass m2. Okay, if you see that these two are separated by a small distance of r. These two are separated by a small distance of r. Now, so in the small mass, that is your mass m2, it is in your gravitational field of mass m1. Okay, or some tiny fields and etc. So earlier, I'm just assuming these two are totally isolated with each other. Isolated in the sense என்னன்னா எந்த attraction property இருக்காது எந்த repulsion property இருக்காது, it will be stable there itself, okay, without any effect. Okay, now when these two are in contact with each other, what will happen? So ஒரு force வந்து இங்கே mass m1 மேல act ஆகும், அதே மாதிரி mass m2 மேல same type of force will be acting. So we can say that f1 is equal to f2, both are equal forces but in opposite direction. So f1 is equal to minus f2. So it will try to attract here and it will try to attract here. So gravitation on the, we only discuss about the attractive force. Only discuss about your attractive force alone. Okay, repulsive force irukadinga. So here if you see that, so this is the force of attraction irukum. When there is a force of attraction, what will happen? These two masses will try to attract with each other. Appo the distance will decrease. So when the distance increases, what will happen? Force on the decrease side. Both are reverse, inversely proportional சொல்றோம். இதுதான் நான் வந்து inverse square lawல நம்ம specify பண்றோம். So where f is directly proportional to 1 by r square. When the distance increases, remember, when the distance increases, twice the force decreases. Same thing, when the distance decreases, the force will be increasing. Okay, so both are your inversely proportional. And one more thing, I already said again, force is directly proportional to your masses. Etra masses irukku? Rendu masses irukku, mass m1 and as well as mass m2. So force is directly proportional to mass m1 and m2. Combining these two, force is directly proportional to m1 m2 divided by r square. Okay, so இது வந்து proportionality. Okay, or we can say force வந்து இதுக்கு மேல டிபெண்ட் ஆயிருக்கும், ஈக்குவேட் ஆகல. ரிமெம்பர், அது ஈக்குவேட் ஆகணும்னா we have to take a proportionality constant k. இந்த proportional constant that we call it as universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. Okay, so this universal gravitational constant, the value of capital G is 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. Remember, capital G value is 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. Okay, and there is one more thing, small g இருக்கு. Small g இப்போ வேணாம், நம்ம வந்து gravitation topicல டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணும்போது அப்போ நம்ம பார்த்துக்கலாம். Small g we call it as acceleration due to gravity. We call it as acceleration due to Ma, can you able to hear me? Sorry, some network issues are there, I think so. Okay, now can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Fine, thank you. So we'll go further. So what I'm telling you that capital G value on the 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. Okay, and a small g we call it as acceleration due to gravity. We call it as acceleration due to gravity. It is different. Okay, இது பத்தி நம்ம வந்து அப்புறமா பார்க்கலாம். Okay, பேசலாம். In the acceleration due to gravity வந்து depends upon the planet. So நம்ம planet, that means Earth க்கு வந்து the value is 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, so we'll discuss this one later. Universal gravitational constant வந்து it is constant all over the universe between the planets. Okay, so force formula என்ன சொல்லிருக்கேன்? F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by r square. Let's see the unit for capital G. So for that, what I'll do, I'll reform this equation as G is equal to F into R square divided by masses M1 and M2. Okay, so in this relation, so G is equal to, it is a Newton, F is nothing but your Newton, R is nothing but your distance, I'll take it as meter square and divided by masses. Masses, so rendu masses irukadanaala it is kg square. So those who know about the unit, it will be fine for them, but pudusa irukumbodhu it will be difficult for you. So you have to concentrate on the units. Units irundada we can able to solve the terms. Okay, so equation solving plus on the problem solving units romba important ma. Okay, you have to concentrate on the units. So this is your gravitational force and the gravitational constant relations. Let's see, there is second one called electromagnetic force, EMF and solrom. Okay, electromotive force வேற, electromagnetic force வேற. Electromotive force வந்து that is your voltage. Okay, electromagnetic force la வந்து this relation I'll be splitting into two types. One is your electricity, so one is your magnetism. One is your electricity, one is your magnetism. இது இன்னும் வந்து ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்ணிக்கலாம். Electricity வந்து again I'll split into two types. Electrostatics, electrodynamics. Okay, in the electrostatics, those who already know this, so last classes நம்ம discuss பண்ணிருக்கோம், that is your first and second chapters from your NCERT. And electrodynamics we are going to discuss about your current, that is your current electricity, that is your third chapter. Okay, so first 3 chapters இங்கே இருக்கு, that is your EMF. So எல்லாமே நம்ம attraction repulsion based பண்ணி தான் discuss பண்றோம் about your charges plus or minus. Magnetism it is your 4th and 5th chapters from your NCERT. Okay, so 4th chapter we'll discuss about the magnetic effects. So in the magnetic effects நிறைய relations இருக்கு, ரொம்ப important topic. So எப்படி current form ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு, current base பண்ணி எப்படி magnetic field form ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு, that is your 4th chapter. And 5th one we'll discuss about the materials. So materials we'll discuss about the dia, para and ferro. In the materials based பண்ணி நிறைய contents இருக்கு. And remember one more thing, those are from NCERT, those are from state board. உங்களுக்கு syllabus கம்மி பண்ணிருக்காங்க, அது பண்ணிருக்காங்க, இது பண்ணிருக்காங்க. So please forget about the syllabus deletion எல்லாமே நீங்க படிங்க. So competitive examsல எல்லாமே important தான். Next year NEET அவங்க syllabus கம்மி எல்லாம் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. So you have to concentrate on the things. Everything is important. So அப்போதுக்கு நான் I'll try to explain you all the derivations also. Okay, right. So this is your first 5 chapters from your class 12. That is nothing but your EMF. Okay, so let's see one more. Third one is nothing but your nuclear forces and soliriken. So nuclear force இது already உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சதுனால I'm just skipping this topic. ஏன்னா இதுல ஒரு force இருக்கு, that is nothing but your K Q1 Q2 by R square. அதே மாதிரி magnetism there is one more thing called F is equal to K, that is QM1 QM2 divided by R square. QM1 னா pole strength ன்னு சொல்றோம், இங்க charges ன்னு சொல்றோம். So here in magnetism same relations தான், but terms M ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு வரதுனால so we'll discuss about the pole strength. எல்லாம் ஒரே ஃபார்முலா தான், அதே டைபோல், அதே ரிலேஷன், டைபோல் மூமெண்ட், ஆக்சியல், ஈக்குவட்டோரியல் எல்லாமே சேமா தான் இருக்கும். Okay, so let it be. So third one is your nuclear forces. Nuclear forces there are 2 things are there. We'll discuss about the strong nuclear force, we'll discuss about the weak nuclear forces. Okay, so strong nuclear forces, so that means it is nothing but your proton and neutron. So that is nothing but your nucleus. So the nucleus there is an electron which is revolving around it. So the attraction between the proton and neutron is so strong which we cannot able to split it. So that splitting part or the attraction between the proton and neutron we call it as strong nuclear force. Okay, weak nuclear, anyway நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கு class 12 topicல atoms nucleus இருக்கு, we'll discuss more in detail about that. இதெல்லாம் class 12 தான், gravitation மட்டும் class 11. So weak nuclear force so we'll discuss about your relation. So that relation is nothing but your, that is beta plus beta minus and so there is a concept. So beta plus gaining and losing of electrons, இது நம்ம இன்னும் டீடைலா டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். So losing of electron is nothing but your weak nuclear forces. Okay, so these are your types. Okay, so remember these are the forces concepts ரொம்ப important. And next one we'll discuss about your Newton's laws. So forces based பண்ணி தான் Newton's laws இருக்கு. So Newton's laws are of 3 types. 3 things are there. So first one, now questions I'm just moving to the topic. So first one we call it as law of inertia. So first one we call it as law of inertia. Second one, law of momentum, or we can say change in momentum. So that is your change in momentum. So we'll discuss this one. Change in momentum. Okay, so third one is your law of reaction. இதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும், but still நான் சொல்லுவேன் எதுக்குனா you should not skip these topics. So what are the topics and what are the things we are discussing here? The same concepts are there, but indirect இருக்கும் in your laws of motion and as well as your work power energy. Okay, ரொம்ப important topic. Again நம்ம திரும்பி பார்க்க போறோம். Okay, so laws of inertia. So inertia ஒரு சின்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள் பார்க்கலாம். So assume I'm just taking an object, inertial object and சொல்லும்போது I'm just taking an object on a horizontal surface. It has its own mass. So here this mass is at rest condition or under constant speed or constant velocity. Constant speed or constant velocity. Let's see that. Okay, assume this object is at rest condition. Rest condition lo da irukum until or unless external forces acting on it. So until or unless external forces acting on it, this object will be at rest condition. That means the acceleration A is equal to 0. Here also, so this object is moving in constant force. Until or unless external forces acting on it, what will happen? This object will be moving in constant speed. That is acceleration is equal to 0. That is nothing but your inertia. Inertia on the three types. Inertia at rest, inertia at motion, and inertia at direction. Inertia at rest, inertia at motion, and inertia at direction. So in the concepts again we'll discuss in your laws of motion in detail with some examples on it. Okay, so next one, let's see. And one more thing, when we are discussing about the inertia, there is one more thing called non-inertia. Non-inertia and atomic. So non-inertia is nothing but without forces acting on the object, what will happen? It will try to slide. So assuming I'm just raising a platform from the ground, I'm placing an object on the raised platform. It has its own mass. In the object without forces acting on it, what will happen? It will try to slide downward direction, or else so we are non-inertial bodies without any forces acting on us. So what will happen? We are moving. Okay, so we are non-inertial objects. Let's see second one, your law of momentum. So we already know about your momentum. Momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. Momentum P is equal to mass into velocity. Change in momentum, that means in the change in momentum we can specify in a different way. So you know about impulse, I think so. Impulse and so you may study this one in your laws of motion. Impulse enna, so assuming I'm just applying a force, remember, assuming I'm applying some force in limited time period, that means the maximum force applied in a shorter time period. The maximum force applied in a shorter time period, we call it as impulse. Remember, the maximum force applied in a shorter time period, we call it as impulse. So impulse symbol on the I is equal to force into time period. I is equal to force into time period. This is nothing but your impulse here. Okay, now so let's see. So in the law of momentum or change in momentum நம்ம என்ன discuss பண்றோம்னா impulse is equal to your change in momentum. Your change in momentum, or impulse is equal to your change in its velocity. Okay, so let's see the relations. So for example, I'll take a small example here. So understanding, I'm just explaining with some examples. Let's see, I'm just taking an object. Now object and sonale, so we have to assume that it has its own mass, and I'm placing at the initial point, and this is your final point. So initial point irukku, final point irukku. Now what I'll do, I'm applying some force on this object. So when I'm applying some force, it is suddenly started from the rest condition. When it is at rest condition, remember it has its own initial velocity. Initial velocity now u is equal to 0 because it is at rest condition. U is your initial velocity. Suppose, for example, now the initial velocity, I'm just taking the object is at rest condition and it is gaining some velocity. That is your initial velocity, u. Okay. So with respect to this movement, only the object will gain some acceleration. அது எப்படி இருக்கும்னா continuous force act ஆகுறதுனால, so to reach the maximum point, what will happen? It will gain some final velocity. Initial point irukku, final point irukku. So initial point la the momentum we call it as a pi, which is equal to mass into initial momentum, and final point which I'll take it as pf, which is equal to mass into your final momentum. Okay, so this relation is nothing but your change, the difference in momentums, which is nothing but your change in momentum, the maximum force. Remember, you can say that. So on the shorter time period low, when I'm applying maximum force, then only it will reach the maximum distance. So we can say the relation. So impulse is equal to your change in momentum, that is your final to your initial point. So I is equal to your m into v minus u. I'll take mass as common. Okay, so mass v minus u. Okay, so here, and one more thing, when we are discussing about the impulse is nothing but force into time period, which is equal to mass into velocity here. Okay, now I'll take these relations. So force is equal to your mass into your change in velocity with respect to time period. In the change in velocity, I'm just assuming the initial velocity is equal to 0 because it is at rest condition. Now assume u is equal to 0. When u is equal to 0, what will happen? Only final velocity mattum da irukum. So mass into velocity by time. And those who know velocity divided by time, so it is nothing but your rate of change in velocity. Okay, this is nothing but your acceleration. This is nothing but your newtons. Second law, force is equal to mass into acceleration. This is your Newton's second law. Remember these cases. So change in momentum is nothing but your impulse. Okay, remember this case. So இது based பண்ணி questions எல்லாமே வந்து we are going to discuss in your laws of
Something went
motion.
wrong. Please try again.
Okay, so remember this case. So let's see. Third one. Third one is your law of reaction. Third one is your law of reaction. Law of reaction shows, assuming I'm just taking an example for your, let's say an elastic object. Elastic object. So assuming I'm just taking an elastic object, it has its own mass. I'm taking the mass as m1. The mass m1, what I'll do, this elastic object, I'm throwing this mass to the wall. When I'm throwing this ball, okay, to the wall, what will happen? It will bounce back. So what are the force I'm applying here? What are the force I'm applying here? I'll take this one as F1. Okay, so with the same force, it will bounce back. Remember, with the same force, it will bounce back. You already know this relation. So force F1 is equal to F2. Random force is same because of the elastic object. But, so both are in opposite direction. So F1 is equal to minus F2. So every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Here it is. So I'm doing an action here. So for this equal and opposite reaction will be happening. This is nothing but in Newton's third law. So in the Newton's third law, we call it as law of reaction. This is on the all cases applicable. Okay, remember it. Just remember it. Okay. So let's see one more. Next one is your law of conservation. So in the law of conservation, the ரொம்ப important content. In the conservation concepts, we discuss பண்றோம். இது வந்து class 12th ல இருந்தாலும் it won't leave you. Okay. Law of conservation. So law of conservation of energy. Second one, law of conservation of charge. Third one, law of conservation of linear momentum. Fourth one, law of conservation of angular momentum. Okay, so these are the four types law of conservation. So we already seen your law of conservation of charge and as well as energy. I told you already. So law of conservation of energy. Energy neither be created nor destroyed, but it will transfer from one form to other form. Energy வந்து transfer மட்டும்தான் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. We won't create it, we won't destroy it. Like or a simple example, energy and சொல்லும்போது simple example. Okay, assuming I'm taking a motor. Okay, so motor, it will convert your electrical energy to your mechanical energy. Electrical energy to your mechanical energy. இங்க வந்து energy வந்து நான் losing எதுவுமே கிடையாது. Just conversion மட்டும்தான் இருக்கு. This is nothing but your law of conservation. Or there is one more thing, storage. So transfer and சொல்லணும் or storage and சொல்லணும். Storage, like an example, battery. Okay, so this is also conservation. So இங்க வந்து storage energy வந்து storage convert ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. Okay, and as well as your capacitor. Okay, so இங்க வந்து energy வந்து store ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. The storing base பண்ணி we can able to say this is nothing but your law of conservation. We can say energy may neither be created nor destroyed, but it will transfer from one form to other form. This is nothing but your energy. Next one, same thing for your charge also. So charge here also, so charge neither be created nor destroyed, but it will transfer from one form to other form or one point to other point. இதுதான் நம்ம வந்து charges discuss பண்ணிருக்கோம் in the last classes in your class 12. Okay, அதுதான் properties of charge ல discuss பண்ணிருக்கோம். இதுல வந்து ரெண்டு பாயிண்ட்ஸ் நான் சொல்லிருக்கேன். One, the charge won't be destroyed or created. Second point, so without any external forces or external charges acting on it, what will happen? It will be at rest condition or it is totally isolated. Is totally isolated. These are the 2 points in your law of conservation. So third one is your linear momentum. Linear momentum, the name itself is shows. So when you are applying some force on an object, what will happen? It will travel or it will movement in the linear fashion itself. Okay, so here it will try to travel in a linear velocity, linear fashion, linear momentum, linear acceleration. All terms discuss பண்றோம் under your linear momentum. Okay, so fourth one is your angular momentum. Angular momentum, so I told you already, angular or circular motion, both are same only. Okay, so suppose when you are applying some force on an object, what will happen? Because of the radius, with respect to the radius or with respect to the object's distance from the center, what will happen? It will try to travel in a circular point. Okay, so this is something about your angular force. Again, angular velocity irukum, angular force irukum, angular acceleration irukum, angular momentum irukum. So everything we'll discuss. So here it will try to travel in angular fashion. Here it will try to travel in a linear fashion. So energy வந்து இங்க கன்சர்வ் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. So transferring from one form to other form. அது linear இருக்கலாம், angular இருக்கலாம். So these are nothing but your law of conservation. Okay, just remember the names. So anyway, நம்ம வந்து கான்செப்ட் குள்ள போகும்போது so we'll discuss more in detail. இதுதான் physical world. ஓகே, இதெல்லாம் வந்து உங்களுக்கு கிளாஸ்ல முன்னாடி எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டு இது வந்து எப்படின்னா வாட் ஆர் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு ஸ்டடி இன் யுவர் கிளாஸ் 11 அதுதான் நீங்க முன்னாடி ஹவ் டு ஸ்டடி இட். ஸோ நம்மளுக்கு டைம் ரொம்ப கம்மியா இருக்கிறதுனால ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் ரஷிங் இட் அப், தட்ஸ் இட். Okay, anyway, so this is your three things. One is your law of conservation, second one is your Newton's laws, third one is your types of forces. These are the things you are going to study in your physical world. Remember it. Okay, let's see our main topic. This is your second chapter in your class 11 volume 1. Okay, the main topic இங்க வந்து நம்ம பார்க்கலாம். earlier topic வந்து just theory மட்டும் தான், என்னென்ன டைப்ஸ் இருக்கு, என்னென்ன ரிலேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு, அது என்னன்னு சொல்லிட்டு so you have seen it, that's it. Okay, now இங்க இருந்து நம்ம டீடைலா போலாம். So make a heading units and measurement. Units and measurement. From that we'll go slowly. So units and measurement ல வந்து first of all என்னென்ன contents இருக்குன்னு நான் சொல்றேன், இன்னும் டீடைல் கண்டென்ட் சொல்றேன், அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம ஸ்லோவா போலாம். we'll do practice. Okay, so step by step வந்து we'll try to do practice. Let's see. So now the units is separate பண்ணிடுறேன், measurement is separate பண்ணிடுறேன். So when we are discussing about the units, first of all, now the units na enna paakrom. So we have to see the definition for the unit, and as well as there is a term called physical quantity. Okay, so the physical quantity na enna therinjikano, and the physical quantity base panni units eppadi relate pandrathu, units nala enna uses irukku, and after that we are going to discuss about the types of units. So types of units la vandu there are three types are there. Basically now the four types is split பண்றேன், but still we'll see three types only. So first one is your MKS, second one is your CGS, third one is your FPS, and fourth one is your SI. But FPS வந்து நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். So for our Indian conditions only MKS CGS மட்டும் தான் இருக்கும். So these two types we are relating with respect to your mass, length and time. நீங்க ஆல்ரெடி படிச்சிருப்பீங்க இது, பட் ஸ்டில் so length, mass, time மூணு மேல தான் டிபெண்ட் ஆயிருக்கும். we will discuss. So SI unit வந்து இப்போ split into three types, மூணு டைப்பா ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆயிருக்கும். So one is your fundamental unit. Fundamental units are of 7 types. அதுல வந்து இந்த mass, length, time மூணு. Okay, apart from these three, other 4 types are there. Those are your fundamental units ன்னு சொல்றோம். Okay, and after that derived units, and after the supplementary units. These are the three types. After this we are going to discuss about the length. இதெல்லாம் நாங்க படிச்சிட்டு நம்ம படிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறமா இந்த ரிலேஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் நம்ம பார்த்ததுக்கு அப்புறமா we are going to discuss about the length. Okay, lengthல வந்து ரெண்டு மெத்தட்ஸ் இருக்கு. One is your direct method, one is your indirect method. Remember, direct method இருக்கு, indirect method இருக்கு. So direct methodல வந்து எங்கெங்கே scale readings இருக்கு we'll discuss there, and indirect methodல வந்து எங்கெங்கே வந்து apart from scale readings we'll discuss indirect method. Non-scale readings ன்னு சொல்லலாம். Like for example thread. Okay, thread non-scale reading தான். Okay, apart from thread, even inches ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு through hands ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு measure பண்றோம். Even our body parts. So it is also your indirect method. Okay, this is your direct and it is your indirect. There are so many things are there. So apart from this, we are going to discuss about your mass. So நம்ம வந்து மாஸ் பத்தி டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றோம், and as well as we'll discuss about your weight also. இது எப்படி மெஷர் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு weighing machine பேஸ் பண்ணி we'll discuss about this one. So forces எப்படி ஆக்ட் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு, what are the relations are there, how we'll discuss this one, we'll discuss. Okay, and after that we'll discuss about the time, duration, seconds ல இருக்கும். அதே atomic level இருக்கும்போது there is a clock called quartz clock also too. There is some relations are there, some slight theory part, that's it. Okay, in the moon law the indirect method is so much important. In the indirect method on the, so apart from this scale, thread and all, there are two different methods are there. One is your triangle method. So now the எல்லாமே NCERT combine பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கு, and as well as your state board book also I'm just combining. So state board book la triangle method வந்து detail இருக்கும், and as well as your parallelogram method வந்து detail இருக்கும். Okay, so triangle method irukku, parallelogram method irukku. Okay, so first of all we'll try to start it, so adukapprama vandu we'll discuss more in detail. Okay, so let's see one by one. So first one, so we'll try to start from your physical quantities. Can anyone tell me what is a physical quantity?
Measurable quantities.
I didn't get you, ma.
Measurable quantities.
Measurable quantities. Okay, we can say that. So okay, measurable quantities எப்படி சொல்றீங்க? Examples ஏதாவது இருக்கா? Examples ஏதாவது இருக்கா?
Length, mass, time.
Yes, ma, super, ma, correct.
Length,
So, yes, correct, good. So physical
mass,
quantities,
time.
yes, ma, correct. So physical quantities are measurable quantities. So, or we can say that physical quantities is a property of a material or the system. So physical quantity is nothing but your property. Please also mute பண்ணுங்க. So those are opening it. அமிர்தா கொஞ்சம் மியூட் பண்ணுங்க, சாரி. ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ. ஏன்னா வந்து மல்டிபிள் ஆடியோஸ் இருந்தா மிஸ் மேட்ச் ஆகும், எனக்கு வந்து டிஸ்டர்பன்ஸ் ஆகும் இங்க, அதனால. ஓகே, ரைட். ஸோ ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி, ஓகே, ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி ஆஃப் எ மெட்டீரியல், okay, or system, property of a material or system that can be quantified, by measurement. So whatever you said, it's correct only. So here it is nothing but your property of a material or a system that can be quantified for measurement. Let's see. So நம்ம வந்து examples பார்க்கலாம். Physical quantities வந்து as you said, mass, length, time. So we'll see only three things. These are the base quantities on சொல்றோம். Remember, in the mono வந்து we call it as base quantities. இது base பண்ணி தான் மத்த quantities எல்லாம் depend ஆயிருக்கும். Okay, we call it as base quantities. Okay, so in the base quantities, okay, so here for these base quantities, to measure these base quantities or to measure these physical quantities, remember we required units. To measure these physical quantities, we physically require these units. Without any units, we cannot able to measure anything here. Let's see types of units under. Okay, so in the units round, there are three things are there. I told you already. So one is your MKS, one is your CGS, and one is your FPS. இது என்னன்னு சொல்லிட்டு டீடைலா நம்ம பார்க்கலாம். So remember MKS. So meter, kilogram, second. Second one is your CGS, that is your centimeter, gram, second. Third one is your FPS, foot, pound, and second. So these three physical quantities, like for example, so meter, centimeter, foot are for length measurement. Kgs, grams, pounds are for mass measurement. And time is for your second measurement. So time won't change at all. It is constant. Time is for your second. Okay. Right. So time is nothing but your duration as well. It is nothing but your duration. Okay. So length, mass, and time. So meter, MKS, CGS, and FPS. FPS and the foot pounds again நம்ம வந்து அதெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். Just you can remember foot ஓட conversions எப்படி இருக்கும் to the kgs. நான் எல்லாமே conversions எல்லாம் கொடுக்கிறேன் step by step. Okay. So these are the three things, and in the three things on the MKS and CGS is so much important. Remember it. Let's see some small examples here. So when we are discussing about force, okay, so force and சொல்லும்போது just ஒரு example மட்டும் தான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன், because you already know about the force. So force and சொல்லும்போது, so we know the formula for force. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. Just an example. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. So mass unit is kgs. Mass unit is kgs. And acceleration, we already know the relation is velocity by time. Okay, and the velocity relation, we know the displacement by time. So combining, so acceleration is equal to velocity by time, so it is meter per second square. Meter per second square. So force or unit வந்து it is kg meter per second square. Forget about the Newton. நான் Newton பத்தி நான் சொல்லல. Newton is a SI unit under MKS. That is different case. Now, first of all, we have to concentrate on MKS part. So எதுக்கு MKS சொல்றேன்னா, when you're going for your relations create பண்றதுக்கு equations correctnessக்கு அதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து இந்த MKS CS formulas தான் ரொம்ப யூஸ் ஆகும். Okay, நீங்க சிம்பிளா நியூட்டன் சொல்லும்போது so you cannot able to convert it. So there are some conversions are there. We'll discuss those things detail. Okay, so example மட்டும் தான் நான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன். எனவே நம்ம practice பண்ணுவோம். So force is equal to kg meter per second. And same thing I can convert into CGS also. That is your gram centimeter per second square. Gram centimeter per second square. Okay. So இதுதான் SI யூனிட்ல வந்து எப்படி ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்றோம்னா SI யூனிட் வந்து இன்டர்நேஷனல் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் யூனிட்னு சொல்றோம். இது வந்து சயின்டிஸ்ட் நேம்ஸ் மட்டும்தான் மேக்ஸிமம் ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்றோம். Like for example, force unit is Newton under MKS. Remember, under MKS, force unit is Newton. அதே under CGS வந்து we call it as dyne. We call it as dyne. Okay, so this is your SI under MKS and CGS. Okay, anyway, so in the example matunda, so we'll discuss more in detail about these things. Okay, so let's see about your SI unit. So SI unit, I told you there are three different types are there. SI unit, it is split into three different things. One is your fundamental unit, one is your derived unit, and one is your supplementary units and so on. So fundamental unit, derived unit, and supplementary units. So first of all, names kuduthuren. Okay, so when we are discussing about the units, idhula the fundamental units on the 7 types and solliruken. Okay, so 7 types. So 7 types lo on the, so the basic 3 types are there. That is nothing but your length. Second one is your mass. Third one is your time. Idu moonu change agadu. Apart from this, there are few more are there. Temperature, current. I'm just giving the shortcuts. Sixth one, amount of substance. Seventh one, luminous intensity. Okay, length, mass, time, temperature, current, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. Length you already know. Other units eppadi irukuna meter, comma, centimeter. And mass we already know, that is you think about your kgs and grams. Time you already know, which is nothing but your second. Okay, temperature வந்து இதோட SI unit வந்து Kelvin. Apart from the Kelvin, there are two more different units are there: degree Celsius and Fahrenheit. Okay, and current we know that ampere. Amount of substance, it will be used in your chemistry to measure the molecules or the smallest quantities measure பண்றதுக்கு for compositions. So we'll say mole, MOL. Luminous intensity for your light intensity, light அதோட brightness measurement and சொல்லலாம். So to measure the intensity, we are using a device called candela. இது எங்க யூஸ் பண்றோம்னா for like நீங்க வந்து மூவி மேக்கிங்ஸ் எல்லாம் நீங்க பாத்துக்கீங்க, there is a small device, light brightness இருக்கா இல்லையா செக் பண்றதுக்கு to they are measuring the smallest device. That device are using with respect to the unit called candela. Okay, அது light intensity, light measurement னு சொல்றோம். Okay, anyway, so here இதுல வந்து இந்த ரெண்டு நம்ம வந்து மேக்ஸிமம் யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். இன்னும் there is a term called ray optics. இது வந்து class 12 topicsல இருக்கும். And even ray optics lo maybe one or two content la varum thavara it is not that much important. Okay, remember the 7 types, idhula vandu only 5 are regularly using. So let's see the conversions. First of all, ungalku length, mass, time already theriyum. So we'll discuss about the temperature. Let's see. Temperature vandu, temperature, we know that temperature conversions paakalam. So Kelvin, degree Celsius and Fahrenheit. Kelvin, degree Celsius and Fahrenheit. So degree Celsius to Kelvin conversions. Degree Celsius to Kelvin conversions first of all. So degree Celsius to Kelvin conversion, it is nothing but your C plus 273 is Kelvin. Okay, degree Celsius plus 273 is your Kelvin. Same thing. So when we are discussing about your degree Celsius to Fahrenheit, okay, it is a 9 by 5 degree Celsius plus 32 is your Fahrenheit. 9 by 5 degree Celsius plus 32 is your Fahrenheit. Please take it, ma. First, take this one. Okay, ma. So we'll see. Let's see. Next one. Current you already know current வந்து ஒரு constant unit தான், that is nothing but your ampere. So அதோட unit வந்து AMP ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு specify பண்றோம், இல்லைன்னா A ன்னு சொல்லிட்டு specify பண்றோம். This is nothing but your flow of charges, that is nothing but your current. So these are your SI units. SI unitல fundamental units are 7. Let's see your derived units. So we'll see about your derived units. Derived units வந்து we'll take some examples based பண்ணி நம்ம discuss பண்ணுவோம் இனிமே. Okay, so the first one I'll take some few examples. First one, force. But before force, in basic Apollo, I'll take area, volume, density. Okay, so fourth one, I'll take it as speed. Fifth one, work. Sixth one, power. Seventh one, pressure. Eighth one, impulse. Just known terms மட்டும் தான் நான் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன். Okay, so here these are your physical quantities which can able to measure. So which we can able to measure. These are your physical quantities. Okay, let's see. In the physical quantities எனக்கு தெரியும். So இதுக்கு relations வந்து நான் வந்து find out பண்றேன். First of all, இதுக்கு units போறதுக்கு முன்னாடி first of all I have to practice like relations இல்லாம I cannot able to do practice. So first one, let's see relations பார்க்கலாம் இதுக்கு. So length, area is nothing but your length into length. Okay, so now the just rectangle and solra square and solra. It is length into length. The unit is under MKS. Remember, under MKS, it is nothing but your meter square. Okay, under CGS, it is nothing but your centimeter square. Okay, now what you have to do in the மாதிரி ஒரு table column draw பண்ணிக்கோங்க. Take these physical quantities. What is the relation? Suppose if you know the relation, you can do it. And what is the unit under MKS and what is the unit under CGS? You have to do it. And remember one more thing. நம்ம வந்து இந்த MKS, CGS இந்த unit conversions எல்லாமே வந்து அந்த base 3 physical quantities base பண்ணி தான் இருக்கும். So that means whatever we are deriving here, we are just deriving it. Whatever we are deriving here, so those derivations are from your fundamental units alone. Okay, so these terms are these physical quantities we call it as derived units. Okay, now the physical quantities based பண்ணி தான் நான் வந்து இதெல்லாம் derive பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். So this one we call it as derived units. Volume பார்க்கும்போது it is nothing but your L cube, density is nothing but your mass by volume, speed is nothing but your distance divided by time. Okay, work is nothing but your force into displacement. Okay, power is nothing but your work by time. Pressure is nothing but your force by area. Impulse is nothing but your force into time period. So I just want the units under MKS and CGS. Please do this one. So we'll start practicing from now onwards. So step by step பண்ணுங்க. So if you know it, you can do it. Those who don't know, please let me know. I'll help you with it. Please do it now. If you completed it, please let me know. So those who completed, those who are having issues, please let me know. இது ரொம்ப சின்னதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஃபீல் பண்ண வேண்டாம். ஸோ பட் யூ ஷூர்லி வில் கெட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் ஆன் திஸ் திங்ஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ அதனால வந்து எல்லா பேரும் ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே, இஃப் யூ ஆல்ரெடி நோ இட்ஸ் ஃபைன், ரொம்ப ஹாப்பி தான். ஸோ தோஸ் ஹூ டோன்ட் நோ ப்ளீஸ் லெட் மீ நோ, ஐ வில் ஹெல்ப் யூ வித் தட். ஓகே, ஸோ லெட்ஸ் see. ஸோ இதோட டர்ம்ஸ் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்க்கலாம். So here volume is nothing but your meter cube, it is nothing but your centimeter cube. Okay, density is nothing but your mass by volume, mass is nothing but your kg, volume is nothing but your meter cube, it is nothing but your gram per centimeter cube here. Okay, and speed is nothing but your distance by time. So distance is nothing but your length. Okay, that is your meter per second, and here it is centimeter per second. Work is nothing but your force into displacement, and I told you already, force and சொல்லிட்டு நீங்க நியூட்டனை ஸ்பெசிஃபை பண்ண வேண்டாம், பண்ணக்கூடாது. when you are specifying about your mks, when you are discussing about the mks, you have to convert into mks. So force is nothing but your kg meter per second square into second. Okay, so force is nothing but your it is your displacement. So it is nothing but your kg meter square per second square, and here also gram centimeter square per second square. Okay, and let's see for your power is equal to work by time. So work is nothing but your kg meter square s power minus 2 divided by s. I can write it as kg meter square s power minus 3. This is your power watt da, but still they are converting into mks or cgs. Gram centimeter square s power minus 3. Okay, and pressure is nothing but your force by area. Pressure is your force by area. Force is nothing but your kg meter s power minus 2 divided by meter square. So meter square meter will get cancelled. So the term is kg meter inverse s power minus 2 or gram centimeter inverse s power minus 2. Okay, this is your conversion. Like same thing, impulse on the force into your time period and solarium, force into time. So it is kg meter s power minus 2 into second inverse get cancelled. So it is kg meter second power minus 1 or it is grams centimeter second power minus 1. So these are your conversions one. So those who want, you can take it, or else we'll see the next one. And what are we are discussing here, we are extracting everything from the fundamental units. Adanala vandu we call this one as your derived units. Or any doubts? Shall we see next one? Hello? Yeah, man. Okay, fine, good. So let's see one more. So I told you about your supplementary units, correct? Supplementary units. Yeah. Okay, supplementary units. Supplementary units and the supplementary units and supplementary quantities and supplementary units are of two types are there. So one is your plane angle, and second one is your solid angle. One is your plane angle, second one is your solid angle. Plane angle இதோட யூனிட் வந்து basic unit வந்து radian னு சொல்றோம். So this is a term we are going to discuss in parallax method, that is your plane angle. Solid angle வந்து it is for your 3D structure. You can specify it as one dimensional motion, இது வந்து 2 dimensional or 3 dimensional motions. Okay, so solid angle வந்து the unit is steradian. STERADIAN. Okay, இதோட symbols வந்து RAD, இதோட symbols வந்து SR. Okay, so let's see plane angle வந்து we can say it is defined as the plane angle. Okay, or we can say, for example, let's say a small example based on number discuss panna. Okay, so assuming what I'll do, I'm just taking an object. Now on the quadrants based pandra, you already know about the trigonometric quadrants, you already 10th class lo padichirupinga. So I'm just taking quadrants. So it is first, second, third and fourth. So what I'll do, I'm just taking an object. Or object வந்து நான் 0 degreesல நான் எடுத்திருக்கேன். Okay, object வந்து 0 degreesல எடுத்திருக்கேன். What I'll do, I'll make a contact from the center. Origin வந்து ஒரு thread நான் connect பண்ணிட்டேன். Like a string or thread ஏதாவது நான் connect பண்ணிட்டேன். I'm just making a contact from the origin. What I'll do, I'll apply some force here. I'll apply some force here. When you're applying some force on this object which has some mass, what will happen? இது வந்து straight line ல travel ஆகாது. It will try to travel in angular fashion. ஏன்னா it was keeping a center fixed. இதுதான் rotational motion base பண்ணி தான் நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றோம். Assuming அது அப்புறம் பார்த்துக்கலாம். So here there is a mass force apply பண்ணால என்ன ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு? It was creating some angles here. Okay, angular fashion ல rotate ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. If you leave it, what will happen? இது complete rotation இது பண்ணிடும். Okay, complete rotationல travel ஆகும். So I'm assuming நான் என்ன பண்றேன்னா ஒரு சின்ன portion மட்டும் தான் எடுத்துட்டு இருக்கேன். So I'm taking initial point and this point I'll take it as final point. Okay, initial point is the final point. When the object is traveling from initial point to the final point, அது வந்து angular travel ஆகும்போது it was creating some angle theta. நல்லா பார்த்துக்கோங்க, angle theta ல தான் travel ஆயிருக்கு. And if you see that அந்த thread நான் connect பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன், இதோட distance வந்து decrease ஆகாது. So that distance I'll take it as radius. The distance I'll take it as radius. Okay, now so here this is your angle theta, this is nothing but your radius, and whatever the arc it was creating an arc. It is creating an arc. So arc create பண்றதுனால I just take it as arc length. I'll take it as arc length. So to specify this one, so the relation angular theta is equal to the formula theta is equal to arc length by arc radius. Arc length by arc radius. It is equal to L by R. Remember this relation. இந்த relation ரொம்ப important. எதுக்குன்னா இது parallax methodல மட்டும் கிடையாது. When you're specifying the relation between linear and angular, linearக்கு angularக்கு ஏதாவது relation நீங்க specify பண்ணணும்னா you have to take this relation. Theta is equal to L by R. Okay, so this theta we call it as angular displacement. Theta we call it as angular displacement. L is your displacement here. Okay, and R is your radius. So now the angular and the linear can convert பண்ணலாம், linear and the angular convert பண்ணலாம். This relation is important. So L is equal to R into theta. Remember these cases. Okay, so this is your plane angle. Okay, so it is your first one. So இது வந்து நான் single dimension motion ல discuss பண்றதா, just a plane angle மட்டும்தான். When we are discussing about the parallax method, we'll discuss more in detail. Second one is your steradian. Steradian வந்து it is defined as your center of sphere. Same thing but 3D fashion lo. Okay, so when you're discussing about the 3D fashion, like what we are seeing, like for example ஒரு cake. Okay, when you're taking a cake, இதுல வந்து நான் என்ன பண்றேன், ஒரு triangle shapeல ஒரு portion நான் remove பண்றேன். When you're removing the portion, triangle shapeல remove பண்ணும்போது, so here if you see that it has its own radius, okay, and it has its own area covered. Okay, so on the particular portion, whatever the angle it was making, that is your 3D angle. So this is nothing but your 3 dimension. நம்மளுக்கு வந்து இந்த concepts வராது, only plane angle மட்டும் தான் important. So the relation is steradian. So the relation is steradian. So the symbol is ohm. Remember the symbol is ohm. Here the symbol is theta, here the symbol is ohm here, the angle. So ohm is equal to your surface area divided by radius square. Surface area divided by radius square. This is your second one. Okay, so first one is your theta is equal to arc length by arc radius, that is equal to L by R, and ohm is nothing but your steradian, that is your 3-dimensional motion. So it is 3D axis. So 3D, that is ohm is equal to surface area divided by radius square. Please remember this one. So in the relations வந்து memorize பண்ணிக்கோங்க. And steradian unit வந்து, I mean solid angle unit வந்து it is steradian, that is nothing but your SR. And here இதோட யூனிட் வந்து radius. So radius நான் angular displacement and already சொல்லிருக்கேன், இதோட யூனிட் வந்து radius. Okay, so please take this one. So we'll discuss about the next one. If there doubt in the, let me know. Over others? Okay, good. Let's see. So next one. Okay, next one we'll discuss about some prefixes of power of 10. So you already know about this one. Let's see, but still, we discuss panna. So make a subheading prefixes are for power of 10. Prefixes 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 for power of 10. Just take a tabular column. So one by one we'll see. So prefixes, இதில் வந்து two types இருக்கு. One is your positive prefixes and one is your negative prefixes. Let's see one by one. So here make a subheading multiple here prefix. Okay, so here symbol. Let's see one by one. So first one, it is 10 power 1. So multiple is the 10 power 1. You can take a tabular column like this. With positive cases. So for negative also we'll discuss. So it is 10 power 1. 10 power 1 we call it as deca. DECA. The symbol is DA. Next one, it is a 10 power 2. 10 power 2 is hecto. HECTO. And this is H. And 10 power 3 is kilo. KILO. And the symbol is K. So 10 power 6 is mega. So from here it is capital M. And 10 power 9 it is giga. It is capital G. So next one, 10 power 12 is tera. Tera is capital T. And 10 power 15 is peta. PETA. Peta, it is capital P. Okay, and 10 power 18 is exa. EXA. It is capital E. Okay, so these are your prefixes. Positive. Okay, let's see for negative. So multiple. So it is a prefix. Sorry, it is submultiple. It is prefix and it is symbol. Let's see the symbols. Let's see that. So it is submultiple, prefix, and the symbols. Okay, yeah. Okay, so first one, 10 power minus 1. 10 power minus 1 we call it as deci. D. Next one, 10 power minus 2, centi. C. And remember, this on the positive terms, capital letters, negative terms, it will be small letters. And 10 power minus 3, it is milli. So உங்களுக்கு already தெரியும். Those who don't know, they can take it. And it will be useful, really. 10 power minus 6, we call it as micro. Mu. So 10 power minus 9, nano. N. 10 power minus 12, it is a pico. P. So now on the picofarad capacitance discuss பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம் இது. 10 power minus 15, femto. F. Femtometer and so there is a device where we can able to measure that length. Okay, so there also we are using it. 10 power minus 15 and 10 power minus 18 auto. Auto. So the symbol is A. So these are your prefixes. Please take it one. Those who completed, let me know. Okay, right now, good. So let's see one more. So first we'll discuss about some small conversions, constant conversions இருக்கு. அது just நம்ம discuss பண்ணிக்கலாம் இன்னைக்கு because we got lesser time. So practical units for small distances, whatever we are discussing for your small distances alone. Okay, so small distance based one discuss பண்ணலாம். First one in that. So there is a term called Fermi, Fermi. So இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் சொல்லியிருக்கேன் Fermi meter ன்னு சொல்லியிருக்கேன். So 1 Fermi is equal to, remember 1 Fm. Problems la கேட்கலாம், இதோட constant terms 1 Fm is equal to 10 power minus 15 meters. Second one, 1 angstrom unit. And இது வந்து almost நிறைய தடவை வரும் இது. ANGSTROM. So the symbol is 1A upper part is some small dot மாதிரி வரும், just circle மாதிரி வரும் like a degree. So it is a 10 power minus 10 meters. Okay, or 10 power minus 8 centimeters. We call it as Armstrong unit. Okay, next one, nanometer. You already know nanometer. Nanometer is 10 power minus 9 and micrometer is 10 power minus 6. So next one, so we'll discuss about the large distance. Large distances. Large distances like light years. 1 light year. 1 light year is equal to, so it is nothing but the speed of light in vacuum into 1 year. Remember, speed of light in vacuum into 1 year. So which is equal to speed of light in vacuum is nothing but your 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. It is fixed value into 1 light year on the leap year base pani na edikiren. So I'm just converting it to seconds. Into it is a 365.25 along with the leap year into there are 24 hours are there, 60 minutes and as well as 60 seconds. So I can write this relation as 1 light year is equal to 9.467 into 10 power 15 meters. This is your 1 light year. So I'll take it as 1 LY. Next one, fourth one, astronomical units. In the astronomical units is nothing but your distance between the earth and the sun. We'll measure between the earth and the sun. Astronomical units. Astronomical unit. So the symbol is 1 AU is equal to, it is 1.496 into 10 power 11 meters. Okay, fifth one per second. Parsec, 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 or we can say it as a parallactic second, PARALLACTIC second. Okay, it is the largest practical unit of distance in astronomy. It is your largest practical unit. Let's see. So that means we can say that the parallactic second, it is defined as, okay, it is defined as, we can able to distance is defined as, so here distance, okay, or I'll give directly the relation, so no theory. So parsec is equal to 1 Armstrong unit divided by 1 second. Okay, 1 Armstrong unit divided by 1 second. Seconds on the in the double dot and so quotations kudukrom. I'll write here 1 degree, it is your 1 degree. Okay, one line, one suffix kudukumbod, one line kudukum, we call it as 1 minute. And when we're discussing about the 2 lines, we call it as 1 second. So இது வந்து நம்ம, you can check it, இது நீங்க வந்து GPS location check பண்ணிக்கலாம். So where we can able to use the longitudinal, latitudes, longitudes, அதோட GPS locations எல்லாம் track பண்ணும்போது degrees, minutes, secondsல தான் வரும். நம்ம conversions இருக்கு, we'll discuss these things. Okay, so here the relation or the unit value is, constant value is, it is 3.08 into 10 power 16 meters. Okay, or I can say 1 parsec is equal to 3.08 into 10 power 16 meters, or I can say it as 3.26 light years. Please take these relations. And remember one more thing. So when we are clearly specifying about the units, maybe sometimes units. So 1 parsec is greater than, remember 1 parsec, this is the greater unit in astronomical units. So 1 parsec is greater than 1 light year, it is greater than 1 Armstrong unit. Remember this. Please take it. Yes, ma. Others, is it over? So those who took it, okay. So enough today. Okay. So just நீங்க வந்து practice பண்ணுங்க. Those just go through it. So if you have books, class 11 books இருந்தா please refer பண்ணுங்க. Okay. So anyway, so we'll discuss in next class. Ma. So we'll continue from that. We'll discuss in detail about the concepts next class. Okay. So those who are having doubts, they can stay, and others, the people can leave. Okay. Thank you. Okay, ma. Thank you.